A new twist in the NFL's ongoing domestic violence saga as the widow of a former Chargers player breaks her silence. An emotional Chelsea Oliver says the concussions suffered by her husband are linked to his domestic violence along with his own suicide.
10 News reporter Michael Chen is joining us now. And Michael, this has to add to the discussion of punishment in the league for domestic violence.
And some are calling this a potential game changer. You're looking at one of the many helmet hits suffered by safety Paul Oliver during his 5-year career with the Chargers. Tonight, all eyes are on his story and a possible link between his concussions and domestic violence.
I was just in such a mode where it's like trying to protect my family from this monster that was not my husband.
In an interview with HBO's Real Sports, an emotional Chelsea Oliver describes the transformation of her husband, former Chargers safety Paul Oliver, from a loving husband with no history of violence.
Kicked me, it would throw me against the wall.
To a man who terrorized his family.
There was once where he dragged me up and down the stairs.
Chelsea says her husband suffered at least 3 major concussions during his NFL career. She says after he played his final game with the Chargers in 2012, his condition deteriorated.
He's like, I can't control myself anymore.
Then, a year ago on this day, Paul Oliver walked into a room with his wife and sons holding a gun.
He just looked at me and he said, "This is how miserable I am." And he tilted his head and smiled. And that's when he shot himself in the head and he dropped.
After his death, his brain was examined. Doctors determined he, like Junior Seau, had advanced CTE, a brain disease linked with concussions and aggression. Chelsea has just filed suit against the Chargers, the NFL, and others. In the wake of the Ray Rice scandal, new questions. Is the NFL's zero-tolerance policy against domestic violence the right solution? And could the NFL be held liable for the domestic violence? Brad Sohn is representing Chelsea.
Has the NFL's domestic violence problem just become even more difficult?
The litigation is by no means over.
Now, the interview with Chelsea Oliver airs October 21st on HBO. The NFL and Chargers both decline comment. Meanwhile, local suicide prevention groups have asked us to let our viewers know about resources for those in need. The crisis hotline number is 1-888-724-7240. Michael Chen, 10 News.